Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live and your Friday, December 19th live stream update, which I am happy to be presenting to you. If you had any idea what it takes to get these done every day, oh my, oh my, oh my. Before I go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you see this anywhere else, please do yourself a favor in this holiday season and offer yourself the gift of thousands and thousands of hours of free of charge live streaming of the performing arts, orchestras, chamber music, operas and ballets. And we have specimens of all of that to talk to you about today, actually. Just as soon as I get my notes in order here. Having finally succeeded at the last minute and getting everything together to do this live stream. We have opera Vienna. We've got orchestral work. Man, man's coming to you from Stuttgart in Germany. From the Kennedys, we've got Ukrainians. So let me do about today. I will do first tonight at evening time. It'll be 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock on the and violinist Christian Tetzlaff will be performing late 19th century masterworks with the SWR Orchestra, which is the Stuttgart-based orchestra in Germany. Tetzlaff, whom, if you follow Access Arts Live, then you could have seen him live streaming free of charge at Wigmore Hall in September with pianist Leif Ove Ansnes. But in any event, you can see him tonight for free of charge, assuming that my sources are correct, and sometimes they're not. He'll be playing Suk's Fantasy for Violin and Orchestra in G minor, opus 24, composed in 1900, but very much in the Romantic tradition. Then before that, they'll start out doing Dvorak's Othello, opus 93, composed in 1891-92, which I think is when he was in the United States, heading up the National Conservatory in New York. And then they will finish up with Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 6 in B minor, opus 74. And if you're wondering, is that the Symphonie Pathétique? Yeah, that's what that is. As for Valčuha, he's a top conductor. He's the music conductor at the Houston Symphony Orchestra, which is a fine orchestra. Learned his trade in Paris and in St. Petersburg. He's originally from Lithuania. So that's what you have first up at 8 in the evening in Europe, and in the afternoon and morning in the United States. Next up after that, the Kennedy Center will be live streaming Gerdon, the Wheel of Holidays from Christmas to Christmas. Gerdon is a Ukrainian group founded by the Ukrainian violinist Solomia Gorokivska and the Grammy Award-winning flautist Andrei Pidkivka. And so this will be Ukrainian traditions in music, song, and dance. It's the second in a series of 3 Christmas concerts going on at the Kennedy Center this weekend. Yesterday it was the Peace and Carols Handbell Group, which was really wild. I mean, that's and tomorrow it's the Beltway Brass Quintet. Then later in the day, now this is an unusual time. It'll be late night in the United States, or evening, Friday evening in the United States, and early in the day in Europe and in Russia. Principal guest conductor Denis Nemirovich Danchenko will be leading the Tomsk Philharmonic in selections from Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker ballet, with full-scale sand animation on a giant screen by Ekaterina Birukova, according to their website. Now, that'll be at noon out there in Siberia, crack time. which means it'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Australia and 6 o'clock in the morning in Europe tomorrow, Saturday. But that means with those times, you can see it in New York at midnight today, Friday, and on the West Coast in LA, San Francisco, Seattle, at 9 in the evening, Pacific Standard Time. It's rare that concerts being held by the Tomsk Philharmonic are at such viewable hours for those of you on the West Coast. And if you haven't experienced sand animation, it is glorious. One little note that I want to point out, okay, according to them, according to their website, it is a Katerina Birukova who's doing the sand animation. But when I looked, the only really sand animation person I could find was Katerina Barsukova, and she's got a Facebook page. She's got an Instagram page. She has her own website. You can look her up, but I can't officially name her as being the one doing it, even though I'm convinced that it is her. And I tried contacting her on Instagram. I just didn't get a reply. Anyway, sand animation is beautiful. It's these gorgeous images which are created in real time. So she'll be telling the story of the Nutcracker Suite with these beautiful images. And it's I recommend it to you if you've never seen it before. Now we get on to the bigger attraction, and it's going to take more time than I usually spend on these updates because operas always do. I have the 4 lead singers to tell you about, but I think it's worth it. Friday, December 19th, that's 7 in the evening European time, 1 p.m. on the East Coast, 10 o'clock on the West Coast. Vienna State Opera live streams a spanking new production of Beethoven's Fidelio with Malin, Byström, David Butt Philip, Christopher Maltman, and Simonas Strazdas in the leading roles. This is the story of how Leonore tries to save the life of her husband, Florentin, who has been thrown in prison by the brutal despot, Don Pizarro, for opposing him and trying to expose his evil ways. So Leonore disguises herself as a man and gets a job as a jailer in the prison system. And well, if you want to know if she saves his life, you have to watch the opera. I don't want to ruin it for you. And if you know the opera, then you already know. But it's an unusual opera because this is Beethoven, and it's the part opera, part oratorio, and the Vienna State Opera for the last 55 years has been doing a production of this opera as staged by Otto Schenk, and now Nicholas Habjan is doing a completely new production. It has puppets in it. So mixed reviews, depending on whether the reviewers like the innovations or not. So I leave it to you to judge, but this is a full-scale opera by one of the top opera companies in the world. So let me tell you a little bit about each of the singers. First of all, Leonore is played by Malin Byström. She, I know a little about her because I'm here in Stockholm. She studied at our Stockholm School of Opera here. She was appointed a singer in the Swedish Royal Court in 2018. And in that year, she won Singer of the Year award at the International Opera Awards for her Salome, which she had performed in Amsterdam. She made her debut at the Vienna State Opera in 2020, a couple years later, as Elisabeth de Valois in the French version of Don Carlos. She reprised that Salome at the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. She's been back to it again and again, singing things like Tosca. She has performed also in Stockholm. She's performed that role of Salome with the Vienna State Opera. She sang Rusalka with the Bergen National Opera, and she's been singing with opera houses in Stuttgart, the Deutsche Oper, the Bolshoi, Covent Garden, the New York Met, etc. So that's your Leonore disguising herself as a man to try to save her husband, Florestan, who is played by a British tenor, David Butt Philip. So to give you the highlights of his current season, he's having a breakthrough season. He debuted as he has his debut as Sigmund in Die Valkyrie at La Scala in Milan, as Bacchus in Ariadne auf Naxos at Glyndebourne Festival, as the Prince in Rusalka at the Royal Swedish Opera. And I don't know, but I wonder if he would have done that with Malin Byström. And he's returning to the Seattle Opera to play Apollo and Daphne. Done lots of concert performances of operas and symphonies around the planet in recent years, most notably Florestan, the role he's playing here, in a concert version with the Cleveland Orchestra. He made his debut at the Vienna State Opera in 2022 in the title role of when they did a new production of Lohengrin. Powerful tenor he's got to be. Okay, Don Pizarro, the evil, the bad man in all of this, is played by the very experienced British baritone Christopher Maltman, Royal Academy of Music in London, Cardiff Singer of the World Champion competition years ago. He sung Don Giovanni at the Covent Garden, at the Berlin Opera House, the Salzburg Festival, the Bayerischen Staatsoper. He sung at Covent Garden. He sung Papageno, Guglielmo, Foster, Marcello, Lescaut, and Manon Lescaut. He's so it's a veteran of places like Glyndebourne in New York, etc. He did his debut with the Wiener Staatsoper 15 years ago as a Schiskau in Aus einem Totenhaus. And he's also sung Eugene Onegin there in Figaro and Prospero. He'll be back with the Vienna State Opera House with Trebko in April doing Tosca. And then finally, there's one other character. There's a justice minister who is notable because he's involved in the possibility of saving Leonor's husband. And that's played by the young Simonas Strazdas. And the minister's name is Don Fernando. He's Lithuanian. He's a bass. Just got out of his master's degree just a few years ago in 2022. In 2023, he joined the opera studio of the Vienna State Opera for the young'uns. And he did his debut with them in Puccini's Gianni Schicchi. And he's been seen in roles like the Sergeant in Manon Lescaut, Dalande in Das verfluchte Geisterschiff, and on Basilio in Der Barbier für Kinder. So that's what they have for you from the Vienna State Opera House today, December 19th, live stream free of charge. Before I go, let me remind you, especially in this holiday season, if you haven't done your gifts for friends yet, or you want to give yourself a gift, you can give you and your friends thousands of hours of live streamed orchestras, chamber music, recitals, organ concerts, opera, ballet, and more, simply by following and or subscribing to Access Arts Live, especially on Facebook and YouTube, where we put up the most of our notices. Who wouldn't want all of that free of charge? Now, 10 to 15% of the productions which we give you the live links to will cost you something, but it doesn't cost anything for the other 85% of the productions we turn you on to, and it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to or follow us. So I encourage you to do that on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. I will say ciao for now for today. If you do watch the Fidelio opera, I hope you love it. If you don't, feel free to come back to us in the comment section and lambaste us for turning you onto it. And with that, I'll say ciao for now and have a great pre-Christmas weekend.